if you can.
Mhm.
You can even, if his fear causes him to shut down before he even starts, you can say something like this to him: I'm not going to have sex with you. You couldn't get me into the sack if you tried right now, but I am going to flirt with you, and we're going to have a little bit of foreplay for 5 minutes, and then I'm out of here because somebody needs my attention.
Yeah, yeah.
And it's building that intimacy and that
Mm.
fun and that flirtatious nature back into your relationships that oftentimes we so frequently lose when the kids come along.
Yeah.
You're building that back into your relationship without the pressure of actually having to have sex, whether that's just, external sex or internal sex. You're just, obliterating the possibility of it altogether. So you bring that fun, flirtatious part back to your relationship.
Thank you. Yeah. That's great. It seems so simple, but yeah, that's a great idea.
Well, sometimes when you're in the midst of it, nothing's simple. That's why you need somebody outside to give a different perspective.
Yeah, thank you.
And just to acknowledge you, caller, too, I'd just like to say, I appreciate your courage to ask and to even get on the phone call, because sometimes when we get stuck, you just stay stuck. And I found that, Erin Faye, wouldn't you say, too, that coaching unlocks that stuck place?
Very true. Very true.
Yeah. So.
Very true.
Thank you.
Well, do we have time for another question? Yeah.
Sure.
Sometimes you wait just long enough, and the person who's waiting to ask that question will fill the space.
I know it's always easier when I'm speaking with a group of people whose faces I can see,
Sure.
because it's obvious who's just
who's contemplating.
And that's right. You can just wait it out. It's a little bit different when we're on a phone call.
Sure.
I'll let it go 30 seconds more, and then I'll answer
Sure.
one of the other questions that was asked.
Sure.
I didn't get to them all.
Is it ever appropriate to fake it?
Yes, the very common orgasm that nobody likes to talk about, right? We have the vaginal orgasm and the clitoral orgasm and the fake orgasm. Absolutely. You know what? Here is what I say to clients. You know what? I don't know that I have ever met a woman who hasn't faked it at some point in her relationship. It is so common. I think the statistics on it are in the 50-60% of women fake it on a regular basis, in fact. And so it's very common. If you want the sex life that you secretly are hoping and dreaming for, you're going to have to be transparent with your partner, with your spouse. And faking it isn't transparent. There are times where we just are too tired and it's taking us too long, and we don't want to insult him, and we don't want to let his ego down that he hasn't done a good enough job, and so it feels in the moment, let's just fake it so he gets an ego boost and I can just go to sleep. And I understand I totally understand the logistics of that. However, it backfires on us over the long run. My recommendations to clients is, if you're in the place where it's just taking too long, it's not working, have a conversation with your husband outside of the sexual situation. Don't let him come to a crash down in the middle of sex. That's probably the worst time to do it. But say to him, when you're having one of those drives or you're having a conversation, there are times where I'm just not as fast as you. I can't get there, and I'm not going to be able to do that. That is one option. You can actually come out and you can admit it. The second option is that you just stop faking it. and you just say in the moment when it happens and you're tempted to fake it, you say, you know what, honey, I'm just not there tonight. But you go ahead, you have your orgasm, and we'll be done with it. Don't worry about it. Women don't orgasm every single time. So you can choose one of two scenarios. You can actually have a conversation about it, or you can just stop, and that will, spark a conversation. But that is my encouragement, that it's not something that we do on a regular basis, and we stop as much as possible, because it's not really getting us what we want. It's not really engendering intimacy. It's not really getting orgasm. It's, not really being completely honest with what we want out of our sex life. And I think it's healthier in the long run just not to.
Well,
but I totally understand why we're tempted. Sorry, go ahead.
What if he's trying and it's taking time and whatever, and you're just not there, but more often than not?
That's incredibly frequent. I mean, the statistics on men, they come to orgasm in maximum 7 minutes. Women can take between 20 and 40 minutes to get warmed up enough to have an orgasm. And sometimes you just don't have 20 to 40 minutes in your day to get there. I've met women, it's taken them an hour to have an orgasm. And this isn't just a one-off because they were stressed. This is just how their bodies work. It takes them full 60 minutes to get worked up, which is fine for vacation sex or when the kids are with grandma, but it's not so hot under other circumstances. So the more your husband can understand your body, how it works, what it takes to become aroused, how long it takes for you to get roused, the more understanding he's going to be about that. So he's going to know, she doesn't have the 40 minutes tonight. I can understand that. If you are a person who takes a long time to orgasm on a regular basis, bedroom toys are a phenomenal resource for those sorts of women who fall into that category. The simple fact is that a bedroom toy, like a vibrator, and I'm talking, if you've never ventured into that area before, a small, we call them bullets, right? It's like an egg-shaped vibrator. It's really easy to vary the speed of the intensity. It's small. It tucks away. It doesn't look like a penis, so it's not something that is going to be atrocious if your kids accidentally stumble across. You can tuck it in your suitcase when you go traveling because it's fairly benign looking. They can really move a woman to orgasm a lot faster. And so if you are frustrated by the length of time it's taking you to come to orgasm, that is a really good option that you have. The two of you can go someplace. What is it called in the Lower Mainland? Susan something is a phenomenal lingerie store that has some bedroom toys at the back, and they're fairly tasteful in how they display everything. But you can go, and that's a great way to get you to orgasm faster so that you're not missing out on orgasm all the time because it takes you so long.
Okay, thanks. That's helpful. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Well, hey, Erin Faye, I'm noticing we've got about 6 minutes left. I'd love for us to kind of wrap up, and would you share with us what you offer to clients as far as your services, just, for if any of these gals would like to contact you down the road, what do you offer?
Well, I offer a number of different things. Like I said, I do the course where I come in and I teach the couples. That is something that is wonderful because the couples are actually going through the course together, and I find that when I speak with women only, their biggest feedback is, I wish my husband had heard some of this stuff, because it is easier when you're both working together on the issues, and when you both go to the same discussions, you have something that instantly opens up the lines of communication together. The other thing that I do is I do personal coaching with women and with couples. I do all my coaching over telephone or on Skype because my clients are all over North America, so nobody comes to my home anymore. We just do it all remotely, so it's very easy to set up, very easy to get started.
Great. Well, and for the callers who are still on the phone, I'd love to just take a minute or two and have you tell Erin Fay maybe what you learned or what you appreciated, or how this was beneficial. Just a word or a phrase, just to kind of get your voice out there so she can hear who's out there.
Erin, I was just I wanted to comment on how I found it really valuable to hear again the importance of communication when it all comes down to it. Just learning to talk to your spouse openly and honestly, and I think that can't be emphasized enough, even with this topic, but other things in marriage. So thank you.
Thank you very much. And, if you can learn how to communicate about sex, you can communicate about anything in your relationship.
Yes.
You really can, because it's probably the toughest thing to talk to your spouse about. Thank you.
I feel inspired.
Good. Good.
Anyone else? A word for Erin Fay?
Yeah, Erin, I just wanted to tell you thank you and Becky, for taking your time this evening. And Erin, you really encouraged me for more being experimental, and so it's more fun and not so routine is where we were just stuck. And I'm excited. Thank you very much.
You are welcome. Thank you very much.
Well, I'll wrap up for us, and Erin Fay, we do appreciate your time, and I appreciate all the information you can pack into a minute of talking. Like my pen was smoking, and then I realized, this is recorded. I don't have to take notes. I could go back and listen to it again. And thanks too for the just for respecting the answers. I mean, it takes guts to ask and to admit that there's a problem or frustration. And boy, some of the questions that were asked, I share with others who asked. So I appreciate you respectfully answering and honoring the women who are asking. And thanks for just I feel like your energy and your spunk. It was really fun to participate on this call with you. So thank you.
Thank you very much. It's always a pleasure. I love talking to women about this subject, and thank you. I appreciate it.
Great. And just in closing, for those of you who called tonight, if you enjoyed this taste of coaching you received on the phone, there's more where that came from. I also offer coaching one-on-one, and I do a free 1-hour complimentary session for people to test drive the coaching that I offer. So you bring the topic to the call, so if you're stuck or overwhelmed, or maybe you just want more meaning in your life, then coaching's for you. So you can contact me at BeckyDenhamCoaching.com, and we are just at 7 o'clock, so I'll say thank you and good night.
Thank you.
Thank you, Becky.